It's Andrea Tooley. I wanted to make another video for you today about something that I'm asked all the time. I get this question in emails and comments so often, and so I thought I would address it here. And it's about grades for getting into medical school, so grades in college. How important are they? What do you do if you've gotten a bad grade? Can you move past getting a bad grade and still get into medical school? And then just how to get good grades in general. So I think that most people know that your GPA, your grade point average, is one of the most important things when you are applying to medical school. So a lot of people will say that your GPA, your MCAT scores, and then everything else, so your extracurriculars, your leadership activities, your hobbies, anything else, those are all secondary compared to your grades and your MCAT scores. So if you have a good GPA going into your application, then you're already off to a really good start. And I'll have to look at the exact statistics for this past year of applicants, but I think most of the time the average is always higher than a 3.5 or right around there. I had around a 3.8 GPA when I was applying, and that's not perfect. There's lots of people who have way higher than that. I felt decently confident about my GPA, but I still felt like it could have been higher. And so I think that as long as you have like a 3.6 or higher, you can feel pretty comfortable. But if you're a 3.4, 3.5 or lower, then you might want to work on kind of boosting your GPA a little bit. So in terms of what to do if you've gotten a bad grade, if you had a bad semester, or if you've had a bad year. So lots of people will say, I did really well my first year in college and everything was going great, and then I had some family issues or something else happened and I started getting, sorry, my computer just did something weird. And I started getting like B's or C's or whatever, or I failed a class. What should I do? So I don't think that precludes you from getting into medical school at all. I think if you had one bad grade, say you failed a class or you got a C in organic chemistry or whatever, then I think that there are ways to kind of rise above that. So one is that you can take the class over again, which will show on your transcript, and medical schools will know that you've retaken the class. But if you do well the second time you've taken it, then that's definitely better than having done poorly just once. Or if you've had a whole bad semester, then the whole point is that you need to improve next time. So either retaking the class or just going into the next semester in college, you just must do better. So if you've gotten B's and C's, you need to get like straight A's and maybe one or two B's here and there for the rest of your college career. And then you need to explain what happened when you're applying to medical school. So in your personal statement or during your interview, you need to say, I had a really rough time, I went through some personal changes, and that showed in my grades. I struggled and I did poorly, and then I was able to rise above that. And so if you can show that you are able to kind of handle hardship and go through a tough time and then come out of it victorious and get good grades at the end of the day, I think that shows that you have determination, you have discipline, and it shows that you'll probably be able to handle the rigors of medical school because you were able to kind of go through a tough time, get a few bad grades, and then come out on the other side and get good grades at the end. But that's all kind of contingent upon you getting good grades after your slip. So if you slip and fall, it's okay. I don't think it means that you're out of the game at all. You just need to kind of do better and then be prepared to talk about it and be prepared to turn it into a growing opportunity and show the admissions committee that you've kind of grown from that and that you're a better person because of it. And, you know, everybody struggles. Nobody's perfect. So if you've gotten a bad grade, then don't worry about it. Just use it as fuel for you to do better, and then address it. And don't be afraid to address it and say, look, this is what happened, and I fixed it, and everything's cool now, and I learned from it, and that's all you can do. So that's what you should do if you've gotten a bad grade. And don't sweat it, because college is tough, and life gets in the way, and it happens to everybody. So don't worry about it. All right, so now some of my secret tips for getting the best grades. No, these aren't secret tips, but these are things that helped me. And I've said this before, like, I'm not the smartest person out there. I'm not some brilliant genius who doesn't have to study. I work really hard, and I feel like I've done well because I've learned how to kind of maximize my abilities and kind of game the system as much as I could. because that's what you've got to do. You know, getting into med school is hard. You have to jump through all these hoops, and they make you do all this stupid stuff. And at the end of the day, nobody cares what you got in organic chemistry, and it doesn't matter. It's not going to determine whether or not you'll be a good doctor if you did well in biochem or whatever. So you just have to try to do whatever you can to get the best grades possible to get you to the next place in life, which is medical school. So some things I did, one is that I studied my butt off, and you should all do that, and you should all watch my videos about how to study, and I like talking about studying. You need to find out the ways that work for you, and you need to do it, and just keep working until you get the grades that you like. Other things that you can do are, one is always try to find old exams from the previous year. So if you have friends who are older, or if your professor, sometimes they give out old exams, the best way to see what's going to be on your test is to see what was on the test last year. A lot of times it'll be either the exact same question, no joke, or really similar types of questions, and then you know what to expect. You can prepare for those types of questions. So do whatever you can to find old exams or find old homework things. People keep their lab reports from year to year. I was in a sorority, and so people would hand down stuff from year to year, and that really helped. So one, find old exams and use those to study. Take the old exam and see what you would have gotten on last year's exam. And if you would have done well, then that's a really good sign that your studying is working. So that's one thing. Another thing is to don't be afraid to ask for your professor's help. So lots of people are in really big classes and they feel like their teachers aren't approachable. So you can always email your professors and say, what should I do? How should I study? Generally, you can always set up a time to meet with your professors, and they'll tell you what to do well on to do well on exams, and they want you to do well. So they'll tell you how to study or what to focus on most of the time, unless you have a really horrible professor, and then I'm sorry. But don't be afraid to meet with them. And also, I think that at the end of the semester, when they're making grades, if they know who you are and they've seen you and they know that you're invested in the class and they know that you're trying and you're like between an A- and an A, they're so much more likely to bump you up to the A versus someone they've never seen before, someone they've never heard before all semester. So if they know you, I think that really helps. And then find somebody who does well in the class and study with that person. Ask someone if you can join their study group. I always found people who were like dominating a class, and then I would see if I could hang out with them, because clearly whatever they're doing is right. And so if you can study with those people who help you out, then that's really important as well. So those are my big study tips. I hope they help, and I hope you don't feel down if you've gotten a bad grade. Just keep on trekking forward, and you'll get to where you want to go. Okay,